That's right. So if you keep it at a lower temperature the whole time, it doesn't work as hard.
That's
I agree
right.
on that.
Yeah, but there's a
Once
lot
the
of
man
people
cools down to the temperature you want.
That's right.
that messes with me charging my Tesla.
Welcome, everyone, to the committee meeting for Monday, January 10th. General Health Services.
Good evening, everybody. We'll open up Health Services Committee this evening at 6:01 p.m. We only have one proposed action. Authorize the agreement, Greene County Mental Health and Press Star 3, Hobart and Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Is there anything else to come before Health Services? this
Jason is
evening?
here. If you just need anything there.
Jason, did you have anything you wanted to say? Say hello?
If I have anything else to add, questions, I can certainly answer.
Anybody have anything else for Health Services Committee?
Motion to close.
Laura goes.
Well done.
You tried to make it longer.
You opened at 6:01, it's only 6:02, you still did well.
Thank you. I tried.
Thank you, Tammy. I'd like to call County Resources to order at 6:03. We have a number of resolutions this evening. Before we do, though, just a reminder, everybody, Youth Fair, July 27th, it's a Thursday, starts at 9:30. Most of the time, we have at least half of our legislators attend it, which is pretty important. Yeah, nice to see the support. So, and I think last year they had a really nice year, especially with the Blacktop.
Yeah, they did.
Way improvements were made there to your park, so,
Yeah, they're looking forward to it. By the way, Mike, all the electric got upgraded too,
yeah,
in time for the youth fair with the new panels.
right,
So they're very happy about that too.
Time's open, 9:30
9:30, I believe, yes.
on Thursday.
9:30 is opening ceremony,
27th.
27th, Thursday.
Oh, Alex will be here for the full board meeting.
Yes.
Right, beautiful, thank you. Now, let's go to our proposed action items. Number one is setting the public hearing for our 2023-2024 operating budget for our college.
Overblock?
Any motion, Overboss, second,
Bloomer?
Bloomer? Any discussion on that?
Oops, wait a minute.
You're not on.
I'm not on this. I'm sorry.
I'll second that. Dorrington will second on that. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Number two is a resolution regarding Columbia Greene Community College approving a collective bargaining agreement with Local 3662, Council 66. I need a motion on that.
Overblock?
Overboss, second. Linger? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm opposed, so we know. Thank you. Three is authorizing agreement between Greene County and the Columbia Greene Community College Foundation, authorizing payment. This is that CARES fund
Mhm.
we do for our local Greene County students.
Lemon.
Overblock?
Lennon and Overbaugh. Any discussion on that further? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so carried. Last one's appointing a member to the Columbia Greene Workforce Development Board.
Lucas.
We have Lucas and seconded by, I'll second it, Dorrington. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Anything else to come before County Resources?
Motion to adjourn.
We have Dorrington and Overbaugh to close. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order at 6:06 PM. Tonight, we have with us Jamie Mitchell to speak regarding the G card, which which is the Greene County Animal Rescue Team. So Jamie, floor is yours.
Mr. Brody, did you give Blaine a minute? You did? Because you came in late, I wasn't sure if you got me.
Oh, yes, I
Okay.
do.
All
You
right.
sent me the electronic version too, correct?
Yes, yeah. Hi, thank you legislative body for your time tonight. I promise I won't take too much of it. My name is Jamie Hiram Mitchell. I'm the founder of a local grassroots advocacy group called Higher Ground Rescue for Animals. Our intention is to create a G-CART, which is a Greene County Animal Response Team. CART is not a grassroots effort. It's created by New York State. Currently 23 counties have adopted it, and the counties designate their own county by the first letter of their county, which is U-CART, Ulster, D-CART, Dutchess, and then G-CART, Greene. So our intention is to collaborate with Greene Emergency Services in an event that there is an emergency that requires assist with animal rescue. It's totally volunteer-based. And who has control over the clicker? Okay, you and I are gonna act like we just had a shot of espresso. It's gonna be fast. Okay? Just a quick overview. We can go on.
How much espresso you get?
Espresso is a little
Yeah.
double shot.
Yeah. This is, of course, the Department of Ag and Market. Just a quick education about where SARTS began, which is State Animal Response Team. It first was developed in North Carolina in response to Hurricane Floyd in '99, where an estimated 13 million of livestock damage and more than 3 million of domestic and farm animals were killed. The concept was adopted in 2004 by New York State. And yep, why is it important? Because pets are a major reason why people don't evacuate during an emergency. So the federal requirements is the Pets Evacuation Transportation Standards Act requires a state and local emergency operations plan to address the needs of individuals with pets and service animals. So that's why we want to implement CART in Greene County. We can go on. So even though our local county emergency response are very, very proficient, as we know, with animals, it can become very, very cumbersome, very costly, and overwhelming when you're trying to do responding for humans, and then you have the animals to deal with as well. CART will help take over that burden by working closely with the emergency response team. It's, of course, organized at the county level. We are all volunteers. As I said, we take courses under FEMA with continuing education. We can go to the next one. And of course, our mission is to minimize loss of human and animal life, economic impact of disaster, prevent or mitigate sort of disease, which happens a lot when animals are either missing or they're injured. They can spread disease. Provide rescue and shelter for the animals, reunite them with their owners. We can go next. Thanks. So CART volunteers will assist in, of course, all of the bullet points right there, and whatever else that our Greene County Emergency Services requires of us and that we're capable of doing. We will seek grants and things of that nature if we need certain transport vehicles that we don't currently have, or more equipment or cages or food. We will seek that on our own to establish so there's no burden on the community or on the county. After disaster, of course, cleanup, carcass removal, reuniting animals with their owners, continuing animal care, whether it's with a veterinarian or foster care. You can go to the next one. Becoming a CART volunteer. Obviously, these are courses that FEMA has set up that we have to take. The ICS and NIMS, of course, will be taught by Dan King and his group to our volunteers, and there are online courses they can take as well. We do not self-activate. We're only activated through Greene County Emergency Services. We don't initiate our own. We don't go rogue. So only if we're activated, we report directly to your established emergency services.
All right.
That's it?
Yep.
Was that fast?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, we are in the infant stages of creating this. I just wanted to inform you of what our intentions are on Hurricane Rescue. We're more than just an animal rescue. We need to involve the community and other agencies in the community to help with the burden of animals during an emergency or when they're displaced. And that's what we're here to help the county do and your first responders. So I'll be working with Greene County Emergency Management to start the volunteer list and start educating and start our drills, and then hopefully report back in about 6 months on how we're doing. But if you have any questions, Dan King is here in case I can't answer them.
Here's a question for you, Jane. How many volunteers do you currently have, like, today?
We just started, so.
Besides the emergency, does it come through ags and markets, and Department of Health say there was a catastrophic thing as far as like cleanup and doing everything else?
So the federal level into the state level, and then into the county, I would take direction from Dan.
With a large incident, the state, SART, the type of incident.
Right.
And the last thing, it's just a recommendation.
Greenville still has 4-H, right?
I mean, if you could talk to somebody who are into the agricultural thing within the schools, and you could probably get people that are younger to be involved to maybe take this thing from its infancy to where you want to see it go.
I love that because, you know, a lot of prevention and any type of animal related or human animal bond starts in the schools and in the home. And if they don't have it in the home, we have to try to do it in the schools. Like I want to do with Humane Ed. So that's a perfect way of integrating. Yeah,
So you have
definitely.
the program there.
Yeah, I love that.
So how do you foresee the mechanism here? Huh?
Sheriff's Department, just emergency services.
So a CART typically is its own organization, but it's activated by us, much like the amateur radio, much like a community emergency response team, any of those other support teams. So they train together, they work together, but they have to be activated by the county. So from us, however, most cases it's emergency management, but it can also be the sheriff's department because there may be things that we're not involved in. It could be just like a animal hoarding thing. Right, so law enforcement will just handle that with a CART. Animal control officers, if they were involved in a situation, they could, call the CART, and we would have to notify. So there's still some structural mechanisms to work out some questions on the insurance coverage and that stuff, because I don't remember all that off the top of my head. If you recall, during Hurricane Greene, this was a problem for us, and this has been on our to-do list since then. So I was glad when Legislator Hobart said he had someone interested in heading this up. So Jamie and I talked several times. So just kind of getting it going, kind of the overview of what they're starting with here. When we did that survey last year for the community emergency preparedness plan, we did have a number of people in that indicate they'd be interested in participating in these. So now that we have a mechanism starting, we'll be sending emails out to those people who said that they would have an interest to see if we can get, build the membership base for Jamie, someone off of that.
You might want to reach out to Missy Runyon up on the mountaintop, started the Friends of the Furry and Feathered.
Yeah.
She has since passed away, but I believe her husband is still running that. You might want to reach out to that organization because they have a lot of friends in the network that would be interested in helping you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know generally CARTs with wildlife, every county can tailor to what kind of animals they have most of in their county. Even a zoo with Baldwick and places, and you have to factor in other types of animals that aren't domestic or farm. Currently, I'm part of UCART, so we're doing drills, and I'm just starting. So that's where I got this is amazing. This is what I think we need. Whether the disaster is man-made or technological, or whether there's more than just hurricane issues. Whether it's a fire, drought, things of that nature. So we would be instrumental in assisting, for higher ground, I've made a lot of connections with other rescues, sanctuaries. You're allowed to, as a CART, go into another county for assistance. So say we had an issue that involved large scale animals, whether sheep or whatever, and I didn't have the ability to help transport, I can reach out to another county like Ulster County and ask them, can you come and assist and bring your equipment with you, bring a trailer with you, whatever you have. And so you're allowed to do that. That's why partnering with other places, like I have a close partnership with Watkins Glen Park Sanctuary. And they can handle more animals. Castle Animal Sanctuary, I used to volunteer there. So and it's really important to have those initial relationships and then to build it up to something as important as this. And then compile a list about who you can field things to in a moment's notice. So wildlife definitely is a big problem. And I know there's a place over in Columbia County that's really user-friendly too, along with Friends of the Furry and Feathered.
Is there any budgetary considerations that we would need to take into account here?
Not right
We're in the
now.
budget process, so.
Right.
That's why I'm asking. Like right now.
So when I was talking to UCART about, their county's financial responsibility, and I said, I want to make this, a non-burden thing for the county. But also as a rescue, I only have so many resources too for this project. I did research quite a few grants that are available. I'm working with HSUS. I have a good connection with NASA in the United States that will assist in getting some grants going. I know that UCART was able to raise enough money through grants and private, and with a big kind of trailer, and inside it was like a holding spot for medical food, this and that, for emergencies that they were able to do. But we're not looking at that right now. But I think once I sit down and go over more details, I would like to draw up something just for your consideration, just to look at. But as of right now, I'm not asking for any money or any type of assistance. I just want you to be aware of what I'm doing. So, you should be aware of what's going on in your county. And I want to make sure that if you have any questions or concerns that you know who to go to. I think it's an asset to our community. I know a lot of people are like, oh, animals, but it's a problem when there's a lot of them and they're sick and they spread diseases or there's an issue and it affects humans. So it's not just about animal welfare, it's about the whole community network together that feeds into each other that can cause issues. So, it is a public safety concern.
Jamie, did you ever speak with like New York Ag and Markets to talk about, say, a large herd of something that may have disease? Usually they're on top of that.
Yeah, I did reach out to them.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah, I had reached out to them and I let them know what I was doing because they want to know who was creating carts. And they were very, they were very, not, I don't want to say excited, but they were happy that we were creating one and that if we needed assistance to reach out to them. So I do have a point person there. So I can have more discussions with them about if there's an issue, what kind of support can you give or do you step in? I think anything that we can't handle, we're going to have to reach out to the state level.
Sure.
For assistance.
But then type disease, the state has to be involved.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like CDC. But then there's ESART, which is Empire State Animal Response Team. So there's SART, ESART, and then CART. So it's just, you don't have to do it, but it's an asset to the community. That's why only 23 counties have it right now, 24. And I love the fact that you can reach out to other counties for assistance if something's happened just solely in your county.
The next question I have is, these organizations that are already established, have they like printed pamphlets that they put in veterinarian clinics and things like that for, like, I could see how when we went to Irene, people, are reluctant to leave because they are so bonded with their pet. Oh, and like you stated, they want to get back there to look for their pet before it's safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that there would be some brochures. These people are taking their, dog, cat, or other, pet to the veterinarian for a hangnail.
Right. They do have brochures. UCART does, DCART. I was recently been down to Dutchess and they had a pet safety card once. So I went down just to do, check that out. But they had brochures there as well for their carts, and I can get those. next time I come in to give you updates, I can share that with you. But definitely literature is gonna have to happen once we get established.
Sure,
Once it's in writing and out there, you can't really take it back. So I want to make sure I have my ducks in a row,
gotcha.
or chickens or dogs or cats. But
Yeah, we can certainly help with putting the word out as well. with our network.
thank you. Yeah, I wanted to put it on social media, the volunteer, try to get volunteers, but I didn't want to do that without talking to you first. Out of respect for the county and the legislative body, that you should know what somebody's trying to do that might affect your decisions of what I need to do in the future. So now that I've spoken to you, if that's okay, I'd like to put it out on social media that I'm trying to compile a volunteer list. And I will create, probably on my Higher Ground Facebook and website, a subtitle for the cart as well. Until I figure out, get my bearings as to, what our next steps are. And we'll be meeting ASAP.
Warren's already taking notice back there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, do you have any other questions?
No, good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. Feel free to always reach out to me if you have concern, if you have any kind of input. I would love constructive criticism. It's very important to grow, so I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks so much. I have like 50 seconds.
Thanks for the chocolate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank
And
you.
from the 911 center, we have Dan King.
All right, so the June numbers here. So in June, we handled 532 EMS calls, 178 fire calls, 1,186 police calls, and 940 fall into the other category. In June, we took 4,684 911 calls, and then 5,830 other phone calls, anything coming on a 7-digit line. There were 28 mutual aid EMS calls, 2 fire mutual aid calls. The hazmat team responded to 1 event, and the fire investigation team also responded to 1 event. Other stuff going on, the Hunter Town Hall tower is done as far as the structure. We are waiting on radio equipment to come in because there's still a bit of a back order on radio equipment. I think I mentioned last time the hazard mitigation plan was submitted to the state for their review. We still haven't heard anything back yet, but I'm really not holding my breath on that yet. It will take a lot longer. And we're currently starting the process of the countywide evacuation plan, which really deals with how we evacuate large areas, mostly focusing on flooding or hazardous materials release. So that's what's going on. 2 resolutions tonight. One is appointing a member to the fire advisory board, and the other is a simple budget realignment. So I'm not spending a lot of money this month. Any questions?
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Next up, we have Sheriff Kuzminski.
Good evening, everybody. So this month, the month of June, anyway, we had 143 civil attempts, served 92 civil papers, issued 137 traffic tickets, investigated 21 traffic accidents, made 34 arrests and 1 DWI arrest. We handled 487 calls for service, made 203 traffic stops, and issued 1 Narcan rescue kit. On June 1st, the starting jail population was 39. As of June 30th, it was 38, the high for the month being 39. Corrections officers did 29 transports traveling 2,317 miles, totaling 83 and a half hours, moving 32 inmates, and we have 1 state-ready inmate in our custody. I would like to mention that we had security here for the early voting, of which only 2 people voted. And,
On the last day.
on the last day, and the additional security staffing cost us almost $3,000.
Wow.
The work is finally completed on CPOD, and we're awaiting approval from the CLC to open it, but we still need to hire 7 corrections officers to meet the minimum staffing requirements. Did handle a concert at the Point, which had about 1,000 actual attendees without any significant issues. We hosted the annual judges dinner at the jail, where we had 26 court personnel from the county in attendance. We had 2 corrections officers graduate the Corrections Academy in Ulster County last month. And lastly, just yesterday, we sent 19 Greene County children off to the New York State Sheriff's Summer Camp. Busy month. All I got. Questions? Thank you.
Check. Thank you. Okay, on to the proposed action items. The first one is amending resolution number 120-23, appointing members to the Greene County Fire Advisory Board 2023.
I'll second it.
I'll first it.
It's from New Baltimore.
Kelly's all over it.
And Handel, Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. And the second proposed action item is a budget amendment for capital project number 133-2022, Homeland Security.
Davis.
Davis and Handel, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Anything else to come before public safety?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Handel, I'll second it. We are adjourned.
Hey. And county services, excuse me, 627, we have 2 action items. Awarding meat, canned goods and frozen supplies to Ginsburg's. I'll move that. Do we have a second?
I have a leg and I have a boomer.
Leg and Boomer, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay, number 2, funding allocations for Greene County Department of Human Services Youth Bureau, January 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2023.
Lennon, Lucas, Lennon.
Lennon, and who was else? True, Lennon and True, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Does anybody have anything for county services this evening? It's not. I got a phone call from Michelle Dio, who is sick and a cold, so she didn't come tonight.
Appreciate
Do I have a motion?
Motion closed.
Motion to close, motion to second.
I know everybody's been out in the sun all day.
Okay, we're closed.
Hey, we're at 6:29, and we'll start with our highway superintendent's report.
Thank you, Jamie and Dan, for staying. You're the only 2 that ever.
Don't take it personal.
Everybody else leaves immediately following there. Go through my report, County 83 culvert and pedestrian bridge in the town of Hunter. There has been a slight delay due to submittal drawings for the precast structure. Hopefully we can get that. Once the drawings are in, they'll figure out a precast schedule. Once the precast schedule is set, then the contractor can get in there and start working. They don't want to start that project too soon and disrupt the traffic right there on 83. There's actually a camp occurring at the park. So the longer they can delay this would actually be helpful.
Who's the contract?
It is James Malloy.
Did they pick up on the issue or was it?
It's the actual precaster. They've been going back and forth with the design engineer. Not sure exactly what the specific issues were, but it's actually not going to it's helpful because the town has that park with the camp occurring right now. So if we can push it off a little bit, actually it will be beneficial. But there is a tremendous amount of work that we still have to do to County 83. We're changing out culverts, we're removing and replacing guide rail, we're doing slope stabilization. So there's a lot of work that is continuing on 83 right now. County 40 and 61 both of them are moving forward in the design phase. Timberlake Road Bridge over the Broad Street Hollow in the town of Lexington. Contractor mobilized on May 30th. The temporary structure is in and work has begun. The old bridge has been removed, so they're actually moving along nicely. Bloomer Road Bridge over the Gooseberry Creek in the town of Hunter. There was slight delays in that project as well. Spruce Street Culvert, which we discussed at the last meeting, the repair for that is pending. We're waiting for the permits. Once we'll receive the permits from DEC, we can start the emergency repair of Spruce Street, and then they can head over to Bloomer Road. County 2 culvert replacement in the town of Lexington. Contractor mobilized on June 26th. He's continuing work. The detour structure has been installed. I believe this week they should be opening up that detour on site. You'll see a resolution for expansion of services for that location as well. Due to that quarry being opened, it'd be beneficial for that whole area. We're replacing the bridge, but there's several hundred feet of slope stabilization, guide rail replacement. With the heavy rolling loads from the quarry, this is the perfect time to do that kind of work. Contractors on site. I know $148,000 with expansion of services, but we did our own estimate just on removing the trees with our contractor would cost over $50,000. So it seems like a lot for that slope stabilization, but I think it's worth it because we're already there and mobilized.
What happened with that big boulder that was sticking up? Did you hammer that out or?
It was actually removed. It was large, you couldn't pick it up with a machine, but it was.
Okay, that was massive.
That property owner has been absolutely fantastic. He's been working with our contractor to make sure that it goes smoothly. The actual detour was expanded a little bit because of the size of the trucks that need to go to the quarry.
Right.
And you'll see these county room culvert replacement in Pocket. We're working on the final design. Construction for that is scheduled for summer of 2024. County 23C culvert replacement in Jewett. Also, preliminary design construction is scheduled for 2024. And these last three, Platte Cove Road, County 20 and County 3, those are all, I don't know if you've all heard, Greene County won $3.876 million through the Bridge New York funding. It's a tremendous opportunity for us to get additional funding for our infrastructure. It just came out last week, so those three projects can actually move forward. I was really crossing my fingers for Platte Cove Road in 20. Those structures are in dire need of work. Continuing with the engineering division, with all these different projects, our two project managers in the back are quite busy, not only on those projects, but future projects that we have moving forward. Equipment, maintaining the capital improvement plan. I know that last meeting, we put up a resolution to advertise for trucks. That is going a little slower than what I would have wanted. The snow and ice control equipment we're trying to finalize the exact specifications for them. Hopefully next month, we'll have those put up for resolution to purchase. On that, there is a question that I've been proposing to various individuals, trying to figure out how are we supposed to purchase used equipment on Auction sites, thank you.
Particularly the throughway authority.
So we don't have a way to procure anything through auctions. So if there's,
It's the mechanics of how we are allowed to bid.
right, we have to come to the board, get a resolution for a final number, go back and purchase it based on that number. Throughout an auction, it's obviously fluctuates based on the bid.
How do the towns and villages do it?
I have no idea.
Doesn't the state run it strictly through OGS now? I think OGS runs all,
Their auctions are open to the public.
no, understood, but I think the Office of General Services take all the surplus from all state agencies. They run the auctions.
Correct.
So that's what you need to look in there and.
Looking to find out how we buy from that.
Right, it's timing. It's how to.
Well, that's what I mean. You can call and make an
Well, our
inquiry.
procurement procedures, we have to go get bids. Once we get the bids, we come back to you, we propose the number, we then go, that's just not.
We could do a procurement policy probably that would address specifically the
Yeah.
auctions to say X number of dollars.
Because the auction,
Too.
that day is that day.
Right.
In other words, you go in with an X amount of dollars and you bid on snowplow, you'll know, obviously, within an hour or two, whether you're successful or not.
And if we can work.
Can't come back to us, right?
Right, exactly. If we can work with a committee chair or someone on the board,
Yeah.
to at least, we have an idea of what piece of equipment we're going after. If it's available, we can work somehow through some procedure to procure that piece of equipment or truck.
Is there a reserve posted on it? Like,
There are sometimes there is a reserve.
I'm just
But with
saying, if you
the-
go like a percentage over reserve, so if you wanted a certain plow or a piece of equipment and say the reserve was $30,000 to where we could draw up a policy to where we give him the amount of reserve and not to go over 25% of the overall reserve.
How much notice do you get when they have to hold it?
Sometimes we get a couple weeks notice, or sometimes they'll tell us exactly when the day that the auction's open, right? Just like ours, we send out our list, they come take pictures, and then they post it on their site.
Yeah, but that usually goes for like 30 days. People are bidding
Yes.
on that site. And bid, and it's usually 30 days.
Generally on those auctions, just like ours, the activity doesn't start until
The last day.
the last day, because everybody wants to
People
see
start
what they're.
looking, right. I don't know if OGS acts the same way too, like, I don't know if they take preliminary bids beyond the day of the auction.
I know for ours, because we're a municipality, with the contract we have with the auction company, we have to at least entertain all the bids. We can't, if somebody calls from a municipality and says, I'd like this, we cannot,
Right.
we can't pull the
Certain
piece of it.
Right.
What about reach out to that?
Do they use like Auction Internationals too?
Yeah. And that's the idea. We saw a couple pieces of equipment. We'd love to procure it, but there's no way, there's no procedure.
Somebody's
to
got to be
actually do
doing
it.
this already.
The villages do it. I understand how the town does it, because when Johnny Farrell did it for the town of Hunter, he's an elected official, he runs under his own budget. But the villages hire highway superintendents, and they do it, Tannersville and Hunter do it all the time. So I would call them up and see how they do it.
Our procurement policy is pretty specific.
I think it's part of our own policy.
Yeah.
We have to change our policy.
Either ours in the county or the treasurer.
Right now, we don't have the authority right now to go to a bid.
And that's where, what I found, that's where a lot of these pieces of equipment are being sold now. Because these auction companies have such a wide range of people that they cater to, right? I mean, it's, with the internet, they can expose their piece of equipment or vehicle to a number of different, from across the country. So it's good and it's bad, but there's not a lot of people that are looking for some of the equipment that we're looking for as well.
Imagine somebody at next step.
Nice having my peers.
Give us
My peers as to how they.
It's a good idea of where to head.
Sure, have that in place.
It says OGS right here, 2023 live auction calendar. There's many auctions throughout the state, starting in April. It goes all the way through July 19th.
But the problem is that
And
we
it's
don't
online.
we don't have anything in place where we can buy from there. Like he
Right.
knows when the
Right.
auctions are.
Right.
You know, he gets
So-
information, he just can't actually bid on it.
Somebody said something about what's displayed, so you can see 1 to 2 weeks before the auction, what's available. If you need something, if you earmark something that you need 1 to 2 weeks ahead of time, you know it's coming up on a certain date. Money
You can't
approval.
buy it.
You've gotta have someone, once you have that policy in place, so you better damn straight make sure you have someone who knows
And that's
how to
why
look at equipment.
someone on the board would certainly be helpful.
Well, that, we got, I would presume we want to send West, our fleet manager, maybe he takes a road trip, you know, down to Binghamton or something like that, to kick the tires, so to speak.
Or if Scott wanted to just buy it on his credit card and take a shot.
Well,
Yeah.
all in favor, say
You
aye.
can reimburse, you can always reimburse.
Look at those points.
Can I pass on that one?
Tacos doesn't work.
Although I'd get probably a lot of miles. Put the miles before you pay.
Details.
Now going to the solid waste department. We had the household hazardous waste day last month. It went very well. We had 375 cars. With the paint care that they've implemented now, it actually reduced. We had almost one entire tractor trailer full of paint, which is pretty impressive. But the cost was around $30,000, which we get 50% through DEC. As last year, I believe it was $45,000 to $50,000. So the cost is going down because of the paint care program that's been implemented, but it certainly depends on what people are bringing in. This one happened to be a tremendous amount of paint-related products. So it worked out well. It was, yes, it was definitely not the greatest day to have it, but it was a very good turnout. And thank you this is to all the staff that stayed in the rain and worked hard. And it was not pleasant. Next, the Casco Transfer Station residential drop-off area. The preliminary design concept are underway. We're meeting with the engineers to figure out the actual layout. Hopefully we can move that one forward as quickly as possible to get that station under construction again. You know, that the recycling center was just completed, but I think this residential drop-off area is going to be a big boost to that station, especially for liability reasons on the county's part. Just to get the diesel awards this year from last year, it's about 10 cents more per gallon. So that's information.
It came down.
Questions?
Yeah, Scott, I know we talked about it before for the village of Athens with a state highway going through.
Yeah.
You know, and they won't pave that area until certain things are done, but over the weekend, I came through Prattsville and came through Wyndham. I noticed kind of the same thing, but those places seem like their culverts and things like that, their catch basins were all relatively modern or whatever.
That's from the flood. When the flood went through there and tore everything out, they had to replace all the culverts and the culverts had to be sized up.
Sure.
So that's,
I just wondering on the paving side, because say 23 there, it's nice, clean, new pavement. And then you get to these villages like Prattsville and then Wyndham.
Because they have to mill and fill it, costs them more money to pave inside the village limits.
Okay, and they're deteriorating, they should be repaid, but.
Well, the movement of the utilities underneath is the stumbling block. That DOT won't pave unless water lines are fixed, when there's known leaks and breaks like that. They don't want asphalt only for it to be tied up.
Yeah, right. I guess I get that.
Why did you go?
All right, I didn't know.
That's the Athens situation.
That's the Athens
Yeah.
situation. I don't
Yeah.
know about what you're referring to. What
Yeah, I don't know what number of
That's
projects.
what should be paid this year. It is, that's what I was getting at. It's like maybe they're gonna be paved,
I can reach out to DOT. They usually send a schedule of what roads they're planning on paving.
Okay, all right. Did you start your paving already anywhere?
We have not. We did some surface treatments up on the mountain, Ashland. But we have, the main line paving has not begun. We're hoping to get that started by the end of this month, early next month.
Yeah.
Once the contractors get into Greene County, we've been told that they won't leave until everything is finished.
Gotcha.
How'd you make out on Hill Street, Tannersville?
But we have not reached out to anybody yet about that location.
No workers' comp.
Okay. Proposed action items, number one, authorizing advertisement for bid refuse removal from county facilities.
Village.
Village, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number two, awarding bid for propane. Martinez and Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number three, accepting formal proposal for engineering services to conduct a pedestrian study of County Route 23B, Town of Catskill.
Lennon.
Linger. Lennon, Linger, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number four, accepting formal bid for repair of the all Pete's Bed Road Bridge over Creekville Creek in 3-20077-0, Town of Cooksaki. Martinez and Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number five, accepting formal proposal for repair of the Turk Hollow Road Bridge over Bly Creek, bin 2-25951-0, Town of Halkett. Leg.
Handle.
And Handle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Number six, authorizing county highway and solid waste superintendent to advertise for bid for abrasives. Martinez Village, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing exception of services, advanced enterprises, replacement of County Route 2 culvert over unnamed tributary to the Schoharie Creek, Town of Lexington. Village, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Awarding bid for number 2 diesel fuel. Martinez and Hobart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Awarding bid for gasoline.
Handle.
Handle and Martinez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Authorizing change order number 1 through 6, Catskill Recycling Center Construction Project.
Village.
Village and Lennon, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Is there anything else to bring before Public Works Committee?
I make a motion to exec sessions.
Okay.
Adjourn just yet.
Meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
This will be for patent litigation, and at the end of that session, we will dismiss with you. I need a second.
Village.
Favor?
Aye.